Thank you, Nalwadi Sports. My name is Denis Musali, and I think you know me very well as the Honorary Secretary of Cricket Uganda.
Yes, this is Denis Musali for you, the man of all seasons. Dennis, the AFCON has just concluded in Morocco, and Senegal, who are crowned the champions, just the Sunday uh, that we have left behind. But what has been your experience all around of a tournament before we even talk about Uganda?
I think, first of all, I would speak out of context. As a Man U fan, AFCON affected us. We lost many games. But honestly speaking, I think to one word to summarize AFCON, I think has been wow. Morocco has put this thing on another level when you're talking of African context. The stadia, everything just looked a bit different. But also maybe in a different way. I think there's been a lot more exposure for the AFCON. You could get details either online, whether in the past it sort of used to just be if you don't have a TV, you won't watch. But this time I think there's been a lot of information. We had a lot of people sharing information from the journalists that went to AFCON to cover not just Uganda but to cover the entire tournament. So there's been a lot of information through channels like Narubare, other guys who have also been doing a brilliant job. So the information was readily available. I think that I was following a TikTok live where people were talking about AFCON. So the information has been, I think it's starting to show where information is. It is ready. You don't just wait for TV to get it, but it is readily available. So I think in terms of the whole experience, it is, like I've said, it was wow. But also, I don't know, sort of looked like having it in this December window wasn't sort of a bad thing. We were in the festivities. You sort of have to follow. Hey, well, there's Wario Mpira, Sawemo at 10. So I think maybe people need to keep thinking about using this window as well, rather than trying to. The other window favors European teams, as we all know. But I think in an African context, they had our attention in this time where we're all at home, we're in family, and that was a theme from one of the media houses about it being family and all. So I think it was really a wonderful experience. Every information was very available. Morocco put on a fantastic show for Africa. Uh, that sort of puts pressure on the other guys who picked up the flag from Morocco at the end of the tournament. But
We
I
shall
hope,
be coming there.
yeah. But in a nutshell, I think it was a very, very wonderful tournament.
Yeah, it was a wonderful tournament, like Dennis says. But Uganda, let's talk about Uganda in particular, because Uganda didn't manage to get out of the group stages. But I think the expectations were a little bit higher. Reason being that in the previous edition in 2019, Uganda did manage to leave the group stages. What do you think did go wrong this time round comparing to what had happened in the AFCON tournament Uganda was involved in previously?
I think maybe to first say that sometimes we have that Ugandan saying where you think your mom is the best cook until you move around. I think sometimes we raise our expectation out of context. Because if you look at the teams, when my prediction was that Uganda would reach the round of 16, but then you look at the teams that were in the round of 16, and you're thinking probably out of Tanzania and which other team there? I've forgotten. The rest of the other teams were actually very, very good. So, in essence, it means that African football has grown. It's we need to be when we are making either our predictions, we need to put in mind that other teams are also improving. When you go to the tournament in our group, we saw how Tunisia put us to the sword. You know, then Nigeria, of course, put us in our place, even not with their best team. Tanzania gave us a run for our money. For the put our chances, maybe we would have qualified, but that's how football works. So it's you talk about it and say we're a bit disappointed, but I think that should also be a lesson to the guys who are in charge of the team. That other teams are also improving, so we need to do. I'm sure they learned a couple of things from there. There are things that we need to do so that we level up and start competing with the big teams in Africa. All the teams clearly at AFCON were very, very good. We saw how Gabon was humbled in their group and Mozambique were very, very good. So it means that when you're improving, don't only think that other people are not improving. Everyone else is trying to level up. Hopefully, we'll have a better tournament. I think it was a bit, I don't know, either I want to feel like Paul Put was overthinking it, and then He wasn't sure of who should start, who should not start. A couple of games Alan Okello played, others he didn't play. When everyone is thinking Alan Okello was our best player, Chan maybe he should have started every other game. So there was a bit of, I think they were learning on the job, trying so much to get the result to take them to the next level, and never happened. But it's a good learning process for us to be ready in 2027 for us to put on a very good show.
We are already automatically in the 2027 AFCON, and we're hoping of we're hoping for a lot of things. Reason being that we are the hosts, and that flag was handed down to us. What do you think we can do different from what we have done this time round?
I think in terms of performance on the field, I think as a host, it is very, very important for you to go as far as possible in the tournament, because then it keeps everyone interested, especially the locals. Morocco, for them to get to the final, I think ensured that they have stadia that are filled out for each and every game in the knockout phases. So we saw what happened during Chan when you're going to reach the quarterfinals. People were very, very interested. It's only until we dropped out that people sort of lost interest. But before that, everyone was really interested. All the Ugandan games, the stadium was full. So I hope that as hosts we can go as far as possible. First of all, to keep the interest of the tournament, because if we don't, then for example, if the games are in Hoima, who will be interested in going there if Uganda is not playing? So you don't want that sort of you don't want it to look like no, maybe Ugandans don't love football that much. So I hope the team can be able to do well. That will put a bit of pressure on them, but ultimately that is their job to bring us some joy and deliver some emotional satisfaction for the team. Hopefully the president again will put that money that motivated the guys during Chan. But I think the biggest test for Uganda is going to be in terms of facilities. What Morocco did was out of this book. So it is going to be, I don't know if we have enough time between now and before the game start for us to level up, but at least we need to showcase what Uganda is all about. Maybe we might not get to their level, but there are good things about us, and we saw what we could do during Chan. So a bit of improvements. We know they are going to improve on Nambole. Hoima City is ready. The Akibwa Stadium is coming in Lira. I think we'll put on a we'll put on a good enough show that will not put us in a poor image like the journalist too from where I was saying that Uganda has no roads and stuff like that. There's more to Uganda than that, and I hope that we use the AFCON experience as an opportunity for us to showcase the Pearl of Africa.
Gladly enough, at this AFCON, we've managed to put out a record whereby Uganda, I think, is the first team to field 3 goalkeepers in one game. Not the best to show out there, but I think it's something. What do you think Uganda can do better on that part of records? Because most of these countries, as they have gone in, I think Morocco was chasing to beat the 50-year drought without an AFCON trophy, which still continues even up to now. But they didn't manage to hit it, but at least they did try to chase in order to finish at the finals. What is it for us? What do you think we can do better? Because you've been talking about us leaving the group stages and counting it as a positive, but don't you think as hosts we can at least kick something out there of our way and get to the finals?
Our best finish, I think, is 1978 when we reached the final. I don't know how well we can do to beat that record, because when you're speaking about big giants in African football, I don't think Uganda is in that conversation. You first eliminate the Nigerias, the Ghanas, and what before you get to us. So we'll have to upset so many odds, especially even in this Pamoja region. The 3 of us who are co-hosting, all of us are not big names in African football. So it's going to take a lot of work for any of us to try and make sure I think Uganda were the best finishers during Chan compared to the other hosts. So I think it's going to be a big ask for the 3 co-hosts to try and shake a table with very, very expensive drinks. I think Morocco is going to come back 2 years later, a little hurting from losing in their own final. Senegal, defending champions, would want to still make a statement that they are one of the best in Africa. So there's going to be a lot of work to do for us, and hopefully that you hope that the home playing at home can be able to carry the team in especially in difficult games. Let's say get a shock result against maybe Algeria or Senegal or Ivory Coast, and then that can sort of lift the mood of the whole team. So it's going to be a lot of work, but between now and then, I'm not. I'm more of a realist. I don't dream a lot, so I'm not thinking that we are going to come here because we are hosting, and we will go all the way to the semi-finals. I still feel that if we can get to the round of 16 or even a quarter-final place, I think that would be a huge, huge achievement, especially in terms of the teams that are as a bit ahead of us in African football right now.
When you talk about positive still, you talk about a couple of our players getting teams to get to outside of this country or outside of Uganda. And luckily enough, you've talked about a gentleman by the name of Alan Okello, who did get a transfer move into one of Africa's giants, which is Young Africans. And we've got a couple of others. John Podembe didn't feature in the team of Uganda Cranes, but he did come in the qualifiers. But good enough, he's gotten a team down there in Czech Republic, and a couple of other names, including Roger Smarto, who has joined Hearts of Methododian. So, uh, don't you think that we should be having a little bit of more of these names on the European continent in order to battle out with these giants you've been talking about?
Yeah, I had the South African coach mentioning the same thing that probably they didn't go far enough in the tournament because they don't have so many guys playing in Europe. I don't know how relatable that is, but it could help. But I think that shouldn't be all. If we have a good enough local league, then we should have guys who can be able to compete. We'll see Alan Okello has just moved to Yanga, like you've mentioned. Rogers Mato at Hearts now. So we still have some good names. Of all the guys who are in our team, not a lot of them play at home. Alan Okello, who's our best at home, wasn't even starting. He was an afterthought. So we had boys. We had the Cibic who was playing at Baton. Yes. So we have the content. I think we just never we didn't optimally use our national team. For me, that's what I felt. That but we have good enough players who can be able to carry the team forward. There are a lot of teams that have European-based stars but never did well. Gabon finished as had a good enough finish, finished as well as far as we did, but most of their guys feature in Europe and they never got far. So I think it's not about where the players are playing; it's about how good is your team who are playing together. Egypt, a lot of their guys play at home. Of course, okay, well, if you take Mamouche and Momo Salah, the rest of the guys really play at home. Again, we can't compare the Egyptian league to the UPL, but that's if the context is players featuring in Europe, then I don't think that's everything. I think it's just about how well have you built the team? Have they been together for a long time? We've seen how countries like Senegal have done well for them to get to the top of African football. Senegal has kept producing very good junior teams that compete well, and now you can see even at the top, some of these kids are shining through. So if we keep doing those small things, just in James Borgere earning a move to somewhere in Denmark, those under 17 boys, if they are looked after well and then they keep moving out, then eventually we shall have a very solid national team that can be able to compete against the best teams in Africa.
Thank you very much, Dennis.
You're very welcome.
Yes, so this has been our time on Naluva Sports. Stay tuned as we continue to get a couple of other people in order to talk about Uganda's journey at the previous AFCON and where we are heading to the 27 African Cup of Nations. Mugalu Jeremiah is my name. Stay blessed.